Welcome to the Unbound and Awakened podcast. This is the podcast where we get to dive deep into stories of transformation, personal growth, and the power of breaking limits. These are limits that we place on ourselves. Hi, I'm Poonam Premnath, your host on the show. Here we get to explore a journey of incredible individuals who've stepped into their truth, embraced their authentic selves, and used their struggles to fuel their purpose. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Rashmy Nair, Mrs. Universe Petite 2025. Now, she's a dynamic force in the fitness world. She's a model, she's a strength coach, and a pageant judge. Her story is one of resilience and transformation. She manages multiple roles. She's a mom, she's a fitness professional, and now she's preparing herself for the Mrs. International Universe. Rashmi is here to share her powerful journey from confronting challenges to embracing her inner strength, using her experience to particularly inspire women in the male dominated fields like STEM. On the Unbound and Awakened podcast, we get to dig deep into deeper questions, the ones that challenge us, that push us to grow, and encourage us to shed layers that no longer serve us. So today's conversation is no different. Rashmi's story is a reminder that you can bloom wherever you're planted, and that true success comes when we embrace our full potential and step into our power no matter the obstacles. Rashmi, I really thank you for being here today. I'm really excited to dive into your journey. So let's kick things off by revisiting the powerful question you were asked during your competition that ultimately led you to win the title. I think it was something like, if you were to write a letter to your younger self, what would you say? Yeah, let's start with that. Like, what was your response? What was that impact on your mindset going forward? So the floor is yours.
Sure, but before that, Poonam, thank you so much. That was like a 5 minute long intro. I love it. I mean, if we had more time, I would have let you kept going. Oh, that was wonderful. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying all that. Yeah, so coming back to your question, yeah, the question they asked me was if I could go back and if I could write a letter to my younger self, what would it be? It was an easy question because I had been preaching that all my life because I grew up with zero confidence. This was my answer. So I said I grew up with zero confidence. I had a lot of negativity, a lot of that, a backpack full of negativity and insecurities. And I took in everybody's opinion, like people's opinion, and believed in that because there's nobody who told me that, Rashmi, you are enough. All right. I kept comparing myself with others and I kept thinking, I'm so ugly. I'm so fat. I'm so hairy. I'm not good for nothing. I always had that inside me. And I said, I will write a letter to that younger self and tell her, Rashmi, you are enough. Do not compare, do not fall for those societal standards. You do not fit the mold, but that does not mean you do not belong, right? Rashmi, you belong somewhere and you embrace what you have, nurture your talent. And then I said you should start participating in Miss Universe rather than waiting it out for Mrs. Universe. And that was my answer. And I knew right at that point that, I have earned something because it was giving away my own wisdom, the things that I have learned through my own life experiences. And I felt like every girl who is taught or told or conditioned in a way saying that, oh, look at the neighbor's kid, look at her, we are always being compared. And I want to tell those kids that, no, you don't need to compare yourself. The other girl is different. You are you. You are enough in whatever way you are. Embrace what you have, just love yourself, self-love and self-belief and realizing your self-worth. That is what is to be taught. So that is what I told, and that was the answer. So it would have been a disaster if I did not win with that answer. Yeah.
No, that's good. So it's almost like healing your inner child, right? I'm a trauma-informed coach, and a lot of the practice that I do with my clients is helping
Exactly.
them integrate, the struggles that their inner child always wanted to fight. And
Exactly.
you've done that beautifully, and you did that at a stage where most people feel like life's done because you had your mom, you filled the checklist of You got married, you had a child, you bought a house, and you have a good job. You did all the checklists, but what
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
Right? So that's where most people get stuck in their life and they don't know how to, move forward. But
Yeah.
you've integrated a lot of these roles. Like I said, you're a mom now, so you're also a fitness instructor, and you fight all these different roles that you carry in your life, and you do it so gracefully. So tell us what inspired you to go do the Mrs. Universe Bharat pageant.
Um, all right. I see what you're saying. I'm not doing anything gracefully, I'm just trying. I mean, these are the things that I love to do, and that's why I keep doing. So my mantra in life is pick up the things that you love to do. You ask me to go cook a dish, I won't because I don't like cooking, But if you ask me to go take a strength training class at the gym, I will do that because I love doing that. So I have learned that, if you follow your passion, then that is something that you give. Like I can give my 101% to what I love to do, right? So that is why maybe when you say it gracefully, it just comes automatically. So this is something that I love to do. I love to empower women with letting them know that you need to have some muscles, you need to have some strength. It's not about losing weight, it's about gaining that strength, inner and outer strength. So I love to do that. I love to coach, young generation, like the girls who are aspiring models, even women. I love to empower women, I love to help them. So those are the things that comes through. And if you ask me how I do it, it's just because I wake up and then I have like 5 things I prioritize for that day. I'm like, okay, these are the 5 things that I'm going to do today. The sixth thing is important, but if I cannot get through to six, it's okay. I'm not going to stress about it. So I learned to prioritize. And it doesn't come easily, but sort of I can manage now. I have learned it the hard way, but I can manage now. And I would say, like, just pick the things that you love to do, and then it's never, you will never complain that you don't have time, because that is something that you want to do that day, right? Like every day you have a purpose, and if you have those little 5 things, those are my purposes, and I would do that. So, and I have a supportive family too, so if you have that, 50% of the work is done. I have a very supportive husband who knows that if there is an audition for me in the evening, then I might not be able to be present. I might not be able to cook for the kids. I might not be able to, get them to bed. So he will, stand up, and then he's like, okay, you do what you have to do. And my kids are like, okay, mama is not going to be here. Let's behave. So it's actually that colorful blend of family, passion, hard work, and all that. So I take it day by day. I wouldn't say graceful, but it's okay. I think I can manage. We women are amazing multitaskers. There are some of
Yeah.
my friends who do 10 different things a day. And I'm like, how do you do that? I'm done with 5. But I think we women have that skill in us. We have that superpower which keeps us going, which is great. You just have to have the drive.
Absolutely. No, so beautifully said. And listen, I see that grace in the fact that you not just worry about your external, how you show up, it's also how you feel internally. And how
Yeah.
you feel internally has a lot to do with, doing things that make you happy, that light you up, that
Yes.
brings joy in every single thing that you do. And that's how you show up. And that's how you're able to give with your
Yeah.
presence
Right.
and support the people around you to inspire them in whatever way that makes best sense. So that's a beautiful answer. I love that.
Oh.
So I wanted to move into the shift aspect of it because most times when we start out, we're mostly doing things for ourselves. These are some unmet needs that we've had, and we're
Yeah.
trying to do it for ourselves, and nothing wrong in it. That's the passion that we chase.
Yeah.
But at some point, when we're watering ourselves, we realize that that actually inspires other people along the way. And I think that's when you made that shift where you stopped competing for your own personal achievement, but now you're doing it to inspire others.
Yeah.
So how did that help you with your mission and especially what you're doing here to help women in STEM?
Um, so how I changed. I want to say a story before I answer your question. So what happened is I won the title, right? And then I came home and I had no idea like what I had achieved. I didn't understand the level of impact that had made. So I came home and then my friends started calling me and they're like, Rashmi, what did you just do? You just went and won Mrs. Universe. Like, it's not even like local, it's like universe. And I'm like, yeah. And what happened was one of my best friend's daughter, she came up to me and said, Rashmi, auntie, did you just win Mrs. Universe, like petite? You know, you're short and you won the category. So that means I can also do it, you know? And I just looked at her and I'm like, oh man, what did I do? You know, I just inspired a 16-year-old girl. And she's petite, she's short, she's the most beautiful, talented sweetheart. But I understood that she wasn't feeling confident in her own body type. So I was like, I just inspired her. And that is the moment I realized, oh, this is going to be my purpose, you know, rather than, I mean, I love to do charity. I love to go feed starving kids. I love to volunteer for Red Cross and everything. But then I figured this has to be my purpose. There has to be somebody who motivates and inspires young girls who feel that, you know, they don't have the figure or they don't have the looks. There have to be somebody, because I didn't have, like, I'm sure you didn't have, we did not have like a human person who walked up to us and said, listen, child, you are enough, you know? So I want to be that person. If I can inspire at least two girls, that to me is my success. So that is a point when, you know, as you asked, like, how did I change, you know, from thinking about giving back to the community. I thought this is the best way I can use the crown. And now that I have the crown, I feel like I have the power, like, and people listen to me, you know. Before I won, I would ask my friends, hey, let's hit the gym, you know, let's have a girls day out kind of in a gym. They're like, no, 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 we are not interested. But now when I say, they're like, maybe she has a point, you know, let's go to the gym.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
yeah.
That's
And now
good.
coming back to your question, women in STEM, I think it's very, very, very important that we have good education. Like, that is the basics. I'm so glad that my mother, she is a postgraduate. She has double post graduation. And when I finished my graduation, I was so ready to start working, because, you know, like, you just want to earn money, you just want to wear fashionable clothes, and you want to be yourself, you want to be independent, you want to buy that bike, you know. These days, people are buying like BMWs as soon as they get out of college and get the job. But in the 90s and 2000, it was getting that bike, you know. So my mom was like, no, get your post graduation, get a job first, and you can do whatever you want. You know, she didn't even want me to get married before then. My family, my relatives were like, oh, let's get her married. And mommy's like, no, 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 no. You have to have your post graduation done and then you get a job. So that was always, you know, inside my head that, okay, we have to have, you know, proper education and the job. So whenever I see young girls like who have just completed graduation and they're thinking about post graduation or they are thinking about job, I'm like, yes, you know, don't just think, go get that done so that you are financially independent as well, right? Because I think you did the same thing. Like, we got married and we came here on dependent visas. There was an year where I sat at home completely ashamed to ask my husband for, like, you know, I like that top, can I go shopping? You know, it's, you know, it burns your ego. Right? So so because I have passed through that stage, I understand like how difficult it was to go to Walmart and compare salt prices. You know, one is 80 cents, one is 60 cents. Okay, let's get the 60 cents because we are living in one person's salary. So because of all that, I'm like, you know, I want my daughter to get the post graduation done. I want every girl to have that education because it's very important. Like, you can always get a job at Subway, you can make sandwiches, but why? You know, this world has like a lot of opportunities where we can grow. Like, you know, women are going in a space rocket, you know, to space. So why are we not utilizing that chance, you know? So I really feel education is very important, and especially if it's in STEM, then it's wonderful. Like, technology is amazing, and once you get there, you get to shine. Maybe, you know, you will go invent something, you never know. So I feel girls have to have that education. It's very important.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. Financial independence is
Yeah.
something that I fundamentally do agree with
Yeah.
because you never know where life takes you, what
Exactly.
challenges
Yeah.
will be presented with. Nothing wrong in, being dependent, or I have the highest regard for women who do choose to spend time with their
Yeah.
children. I mean, good, lucky for them.
Yeah.
But if you're in a place where you do have an opportunity to express yourself and touch as many lives as you can, as you build and create along the way,
I,
why not?
yeah.
And you've done more and beyond that, so that's what is very inspiring. So I think that's what people need to understand and hear
Yeah.
of your own internal challenges, right? Because these are aspects of yourself that you touched on, the
Yeah.
your shadow aspects of yourself where you told yourself you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, or pretty enough. These are your shadows, and we battle that deep down inside. All of us do. We all have those struggles. But sometimes what happens is we internalize it, and we
Yeah.
allow that to dictate who we are.
Exactly.
And
You just give so much respect to somebody else, a third person's opinion. Like why? I mean, I think for 22, 25 years of my life, I did that. And I'm like, damn, why did I do that? I would have been somewhere else if, had I listened to just myself. Oh,
yeah,
I also wanted to go back to that point where we were talking about family. And if you choose that path to be with the kids and stay at home, that is amazing too. But what I want to say is we can have it all. Like nobody asks you to sacrifice your life just for the kids. The kids will grow up. They are so mature, like they will understand. And I feel like if I don't teach my kids, I don't show them that I am going out and pursuing my passion or achieving my goals, how will they learn? Like it has to start from your home. Like they have to see the mother and father working hard towards their goals, or else they will be like, oh, it's okay. So now I know that my daughter, she exactly understands like what I want to do. Like she gets me. She understands the drive I have. And like before I had this interview, I was telling her like, I have an interview, and she's like, Mama, you're getting busy. You're doing what you love to do. And I'm like, I'm so glad she understands the fact, and I know that she will also incorporate that, as she grows. Right. So she will know that, okay, I have to do something that I love to do and chase her dreams, like no matter what.
yeah, no, that's what makes it a healthy dynamic. And we
Yeah.
in the
And you can do it
psychology
all.
world.
Like you can do it all. Like I'm managing two kids. I have a dog. I have a husband. I have a IT professional job, but I still find time to do the things that I really want to do in a day. And there are days when the kids are not eating healthy. We might just do the frozen pizza, put it in the oven, and eat. I'm okay with that. Like 2 days a week, it's okay to do all that,
Mhm.
but it's okay. We are not perfect. Nobody is a perfect mother. I have never come across a mother who is perfect. So things happen, learn to adapt, and not to stress out on tiny things because we have bigger goals to achieve. So it is okay if your kid is not eating healthy one day. Don't stress out. It's life.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with you on that for sure. And
Yeah.
it's funny how the way you think is very similar to how I am and how my life shaped out too. So
See?
everything that you're telling me resonates. But I love your bubbly spirit. You're here, you're talking, you're laughing. You've had a work day and you're ready to dive into this interview with me. You have your child right before you walked into the podcast,
I know.
who wanted to step in and say hello. So no, that's everything is very beautiful the way you're touching on things. So next, I want to move a little bit into body shaming, image consciousness, because that's a very touchy subject for women, especially mom. We've had children, we've had childbirth, and part of the confidence gets chipped away when fundamentally how you look is so different from what you were when you were a teenager, and the attention that you're used to receiving versus what you're turning into. Sometimes women face these challenges. They're looking at themselves in the mirror And they're like, what have you become?
Yeah.
How do you, and you're a fitness coach as well, and you help people with strength training. And there's a lot of societal expectations as well that women battle. So tell us a little bit about that too.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, I was short, I was hairy, I was teased and bullied for my looks, and that in fact turned me into, like, just put me inside a bubble, and I used to walk like that. But what happened was, when I turned 22 or so, I got a chance to audition for a TV channel, like as a host. And um, that director or the producer of the show, he saw me out of the blue at a gym. And then he came and gave me his card. And he's like, I think you have the potential. And I just looked at him like, of all the people, what did he see in me? And then I'm like, me? Like, really? Me? Have you seen me? It was that feeling. But then I did go for that audition, and then I got through. So I became the TV host. And I still remember the first time I saw myself on TV. I was not looking at the appearance. I was looking at how amazing I was. I was talking. I had my own scripted, and I was prepared, and I was giving everything that the director wanted me to give. And I'm like, that is, I did not know that I had the talent in me. And that is when I realized, okay, looks are okay. If you have good makeup, and now you have good filters, you have a designer clothes on, then, 90% of look is done. You're minimal, you will hit the minimal mark. So that is when I realized it's not in the appearance, it's your talent. But then, yes, body shaming. I grew up, I was body shamed a lot. Even after I had my son, I had put on like oodles of weight. I was like a walking, talking number 8, like it was huge. And I still remember I took my son and I went grocery shopping at Walmart, and he was in the cart. And we were passing by the home section, and they had these big, long mirror. And I turned and I saw myself, and I just did not recognize that person. I looked at that person, I'm like, what have I become? And then, I started crying, the tears started coming out. I came home and I yelled at my husband. I'm like, you never told me, like, I have changed. And he was like, how am I supposed to tell you, right? You just had a baby. He was being very supportive though. But then he gave me a coupon for jazzercise. That's exercise, like it's a Zumba. And he's like, why don't you go join? They have a babysitter, so why don't you go join? And then I joined jazzercise, and that was the first change I had. I mean, I did for myself, and I started losing weight. I mean, everything that I had gained. I'm not saying I became size 0, but then I lost a quite ample amount of weight. So then people started asking me, oh, Rashmy, what did you do? How did you? And I'm like, okay, I was giving away the information, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, because there are so many women, so many friends out there who have the baby. Pregnancy takes a toll on you, and it just changes your life completely. Again, your confidence, everything just goes down because you have gained weight, and people don't respect you for being a mother. People just shame you that, oh, you haven't become a mother, but you have gained weight, that kind of teasing. So then I was like, okay, now you have to change that. And how do you change that? I cannot change people's mind or perception, but let me help women get back get back to their original body shape. So that is when I got a chance, I became an instructor. And I'm like, I want to help women who went through the same situation as me, who was body shamed. Let me get them, let me help them as however I can. And that is how I took that decision to becoming a fitness instructor. So even now, when it comes to my body, I am okay that there are parts of my body which will not agree working out or react. So like, I still have my muffin top, I still have my thunder thighs, but I'm okay. I made peace with it. I'm like, this is me. I can maybe get a 6-pack ab if I, dedicatedly work on it, dedicatedly do those macros and do that, but I don't have time for it because that is not my priority, right? And this is who I am. I'm going to embrace what I am, and I want to look normal, right? how if you look at the percentage of friends that you have who are a size 0, that might be just 1%. The rest 99 are like this, normal people. And I don't like my nose. I feel like my nose is huge, and I have been bullied for that as well. Like, you have like a fruit on your face, you have a mango on your face. And if I had gotten a chance, like if I was this bold back then, I would have told them, yeah, I have bigger holes too. I take in more oxygen than you. And that is why, I'm much more wiser. Like, I never reacted. So now I'm so happy and content with what I have. Like, every day I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn you, May, you look great. Doesn't matter what others say. Like, unless you respect what you see in the mirror, who is going to respect you, right? Nobody. So that is how I changed myself. And that is what I keep telling people. I'm like, it is okay. Nobody cares about your six-pack abs. You know what they care about is your talent. If you can walk into a room with that aura of confidence and a smile and look in the eye and have a conversation, impress them, that is what is important, not how you look. Now, I know many people who look like, oh, size 0 models, but you open the mouth and I'm like, really? So I don't want to be that. I want to be a person who impresses with my words, or with my talent, with my caliber, and not just the looks. I don't want to be a pretty doll standing right there. I don't want to be that masterpiece artistic creation. I want to be the art in everything, in talent as well. So body, I just feel like, we have to break that stereotype. And my purpose, main purpose, I'm attending this Mrs. Universe pageant, right? And that is a message I want to show, I'm going to be standing amongst the other Mrs. Russia or Mrs. Ukraine or Mrs. Venezuela. I'm pretty sure they are all, 6 foot tall, like models with model faces and, pretty hair and all that. Look at me, I got nothing of that sort, but I have the confidence, I'm going to be standing amongst them. And I'm like, guys, I made it this far, I'm standing with these women. I had the courage. I took that step to step out of that stereotypical mold of beauty, and I'm here. So if I can come this far, you can also do it, So that is how I want to resonate with normal people. Like the people who look like me, people who are short, or people who are not beautiful, I want to tell them that, guys, I made it this far, so can you, So body has to do nothing with this. It's the right attitude and the mentality that matters, right? So yeah. Sorry, I keep talking a lot.
That's what you're here for. That's what we want you to talk a lot. And I'm glad you are. And I want to thank you for being so vulnerable. And I want to honor you for all the struggles you've been through. And shaming and being bullied is not a fun place to be in. But you got out of that cycle. You got out of that rut. You taught yourself how you can transform. And at the same time, you're making it a personal mission to serve other women who may be in a similar situation. Yeah. That's absolutely inspiring. And I'm so happy that you went to the extent that you did to explain all of that. So I think it'll really resonate with everyone, and it'll also put you in a better place when you go in front of a bigger audience. So that's a beautiful story for anyone. And it's very inspiring for sure. Because nobody cares about the beauty standards anymore. People want to be raw, and people want to be authentic, people want to be real. None of that means anything if you're not there to share your gifts in terms of what truly you're here to serve others with your gifts. And it's beautiful that you're doing that. So I want to move a little bit into spirituality a little bit. And I want to touch on what you did at the contest. I think there was a talent show. You portrayed like a warrior goddess, and what inspired you to take on that role? And like, what is that connection that you have to spirituality? I feel like that showed up there in that role. What was that all about?
So spirituality, yes. My grandmother, my mom's mom, she has taken me to almost every other temple in South India. So spirituality has been a part of me growing up, and I still believe I believe in that. I still believe there is like this superpower somewhere out there that is watching us, and it has taken different forms. Like it can be Krishna, it can be Christ, it can be Allah. It's just different forms, and it's so sad that people just don't realize that we are all praying to the same power ultimately, but it's just different forms, and we have divided. It's all into religions and different cultures and all that. So I believe even if I'm praying to Krishna or Shiva, ultimately it's all going to that superior power. Yeah. And then I believe, I 100% believe that in that power, and I feel like only if you manifest through that power you get to do things. So yeah, spirituality has been always a part of me. I teach my kids as well. We don't do the mantras or lighting the lamp every day or anything, but then they understand the value of talking to God and praying to God, thanking. So yes, I'm very spiritual that way. But as I said, if you ask me, my belief is in that superpower, that is that spirit. Now coming back to the prop round, so what we were expected to do was to represent our state. So I was selected for Mrs. Universe USA as Mrs. Universe Minnesota, like from Minnesota State. So I had to represent something from Minnesota. And I spent days wondering what I could do, and this is where it snows at least for 8 months. And I'm like, okay, let me be a snow queen. So I bought the white two-lace skirt and white boots, and I bought like a white big snowflake and everything. And then I stood in front of the mirror, and my husband is like, nope, this is not doing it. This is not cutting. Like, find something that is more impactful. And that is when they said, okay, you can also go back to your roots, find something from India. And come on, India. I was confused as to what to pick because I had so many options. But I wanted to tell a story because that was what I wanted to do. And then I wanted to connect it with women empowerment. So I started looking at the women characters, and I came across Unni Archer. She is from Kerala, and in 16th century, she was a warrior. She fought for her country. And can you believe that in 16th century, she did the Kalari Paitu? And she was so bold that she went out there all by herself and she fought for it. And I'm like, okay, let me make that story, like transform that story and bring it to this current 21st century. And I'm like, are we women being that bold? Why cannot we do that? Why are we not getting inspired by her? If she did that in 16th century, why are you not doing it? So I wrote like a paragraph like that was filled with all those emotions of women empowerment, and then I represented Uni Archa, but then I modernized the costume a little bit, and that was not enough. I felt like just doing the costume wasn't enough, so I had a sword and everything, and I did some Kavali pipe moves on the stage. I also did a front kick, which my rehearsal, the coach did not let me do that. She said it's very dangerous. So I took off my heels. So I went barefoot. I'm like, doesn't matter. I had calculated my steps and my moves and everything. So I took off I'm anyways competing for the petite category. So I didn't need the heels anyway. So I just went and did the front kick, and then I did the sword stuff and everything. I also had a cape, which said Kerala because Uniarcha is from Kerala. And then Kerala, we put some coconut trees and elephants and all that. My flight was at 5 a.m. on a Friday. And then Thursday, up until like 8 o'clock, I was sitting with the designer and doing the cape. Because that was a last minute addition. And I had a friend her designer where it's called TAS designer, and her name is Simi. So she is the one who helped me create. She brought a vision. I just drew like a picture and I said, hey, I need help, this is what I want. And then she went all in. So yeah, we kind of executed it, and I'm so what should I say, so satisfied with what I did. Because my aim was to do my best at all rounds. It was not competition. It was pure satisfaction that I was looking for. I wanted to make my presence felt. And 10 years later, when I look back at it, I want to say, this is what I did. And I wanted the judges to remember me as a person and say, oh, that girl, Rashmi, she is the one who did the front kick. That is what I wanted to be remembered as. So more than winning, because I was concentrating on how much I can do for myself. So I think that led, that was a path, that led me to this success probably because I was being myself. It helped on points.
Mhm.
So
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for
yeah,
sharing all of that. Because it's beautiful to take out some of the old stories because I think we lived a lot of the struggles, and all of these struggles are generation over generation over
yeah,
generation. It's almost like we haven't moved the needle that
yeah.
much
And we
further.
forget all that,
Yeah.
right? So
And the
yeah,
cycle starts over again. And
yeah,
every generation, there has to be certain people who take on the baton and ignite that torch again for other people to show them the way, because you somehow or the other, because of how the structures of a society is laid out, and then there are certain people that influence certain aspects in the society because of misuse of power. And I think that's where all of that happens. And then
yeah,
you need few people to step up and be that
exactly.
light. And that's exactly what you're doing with, with the crown and all your journey of overcoming your challenges that you're doing, which is a beautiful story to share and for people to know. Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Oh, no
Um,
problem. I'm happy to share.
So, and I want to talk a little bit about, the future of women in STEM, because I hear people who've gone down the path of STEM, they feel like it's a very male-dominated society
Yes.
where you tend to lean more into your masculine role because, we grew up thinking that we want to be financially independent, but somehow it puts you in a mold of a masculine role. But
Yeah.
then you're different. You've leaned into your feminine energy and you sprouted into this beautiful thing out of nowhere in the world of STEM. So I think that's a great inspiration in terms of breaking that glass ceiling, breaking the boundaries. So what are some of the things that you would like to give as advice for people in STEM?
Um, no, as I said earlier, like get into technology, which I don't know to do anything else, apart from IT and modeling in this industry. I don't know how other jobs are, but I think AI has very much high scope these days, and be good at math. You know, that's the advice. I don't know what to say otherwise. Get into technology somehow. You have to learn science, technology, and math. Um, I feel like that is where money is as well. I'm just trying to be honest.
Well,
I
it
don't
is
know
what
how much
you're.
others make, but in IT, yeah, that is the main reason why I haven't quit my job yet, because that is the bread and butter, and I don't make anything with this modeling. It's just my side hustle. So that is another thing that I wanted to tell the girls. Like, if you're an aspiring model, there's financially, there is the benefits are very, very insignificant as compared to what you would be earning if you're an IT professional or a doctor or an engineer. So if you want to choose the right path, make sure you are choosing the technology that you want it to be, because honestly, I do these modeling things and I get paid very less, maybe $50 or $100, and you cannot run a house with that money. So you need to have a constant, proper job, and then start this as a side hustle. And maybe one day you will be Kendall Jenner and you will be walking and you'll be earning in millions. But until then, you have to have a stable job. And that's why I was mainly focusing on the point that you need to have your graduation or post-graduation done and get a job
Mhm,
first. Because
mhm,
even now, like, I wouldn't say I'm making anything. I do collabs, I get free clothes, maybe free shoes or free house items. But this, I am not in this industry, in fashion industry, for the money, because
mhm.
you're not making any money. I'm being very honest. Even the fashion. Okay, let me also tell you this. If you see many women doing fashion shows and they're posting pictures, and there are a lot of times, not a lot of times, most of the times, the models are paying the designers so that they can walk, right? So those are the inner secrets, which I don't want to go in detail, but I'm just telling you, like, this industry is not all milk and honey like you think. It takes a lot of effort and dedication and a lot of hard work and time to get to a point where you will get recognized. I have the crown, but I am not telling you that I am not getting opportunities because I have won. No, I am still knocking doors and I'm asking for opportunities. I'm grabbing everything that is coming my way, but I still have a lot of work to do. Like, I am still knocking for opportunities. So, and that I can do that only because I have a steady income, and that is coming through only because I'm a woman in STEM. So that right there explains why you have to have that steady background, have your education done, get a degree, basic, period, and then follow the other passion.
Good. No, that's good. So that's a good advice for anybody listening to this, especially who are enamored by the crown or enamored by the pictures that we have on Instagram.
Exactly. I'm sorry to cut you off. Like, if you look at my Instagram, you might think that, oh, this girl, she's here today, she's in another country tomorrow, and she's doing this and that, and she might be earning millions. No. To be very honest, I would have made like maximum $400, $500 in these 2 years. That's it. In fact, I have spent more. I have spent more to get to this state. Let's stop it right there. So,
right. No, but the thing is,
have another session. Huh?
No. I didn't mean to cut you off either. So no, that's beautiful that you are being raw and honest about the struggles out here. So I thank you for that, Rashmi. So not everybody knows the truth of what you're walking right now, because people just see the crown, they see the awards, they see the accolades, they see you making connections with different political alliances. Because I think you just met the parliament, somebody in the Kerala government recently during your India trip.
The legislative assembly, that did not come to me. I knocked the doors. I'm like, I knew somebody who worked there, and I'm like, oh, I'm here. And then they were like, oh, okay. So it was through connections. That's what I'm saying. I just want the crown. I have the crown, but then that doesn't mean that, oh, now everybody knows me. And it doesn't mean that everybody's coming and knocking my door with opportunities. No, not at all. So this is constant hard work. I am actually still looking for opportunities. I'm going for auditions. I still get rejected. I go for ads. It doesn't matter if I'm Mrs. Universe, Miss Universe, it doesn't matter. I still go for auditions. I have to still go for auditions, even for modeling. The designers call me and I cannot say, I have the crown, I'm just going to come and walk. No. I have to go for the audition. I have to show up. I have to wear black and black. I have to wear my heels. I have to walk. I still have to prove that I can walk for you. And then I come back home and I wait for like a week until I get the call back. And sometimes I don't get the call back. So that is what I want to focus on. Another thing is you have to audition like for everything. I'm signed up with an agency, but that does not mean I am getting any ads. To be honest, I auditioned for like 22 ads last year. I never got a call back. Never. And initially when I started, like first time I went, and I keep thinking I'm so good at it. Like, and then when I get the feedback, oh, you did great. And I'm like, oh, I did great. So I'm going to get it. And I come back home and I'm waiting for the first week, the second week, the third week. And then they're like, oh, no, you didn't get it. I'm like, really? And then I go for the second time and then I did not get it. I went for the third time. I did not get it. But the fact is, I did not stop. So I know one day, maybe my 30th, 35th, or the 50th audition, I will get something. But I am not bored or I am not taking that as a failure, because every audition that I go through, I learn a lot of things. I learned to face the camera. I learned different mannerisms. I know I work with different directors. So every director has like different kind of, they show you how you act, how you look at the camera. Like there are a lot of things that you learn. So initially I used to cry. I'm like, why am I not getting, I didn't get the audition, I didn't get the part. But then I got used to it. And then I figured out that it's okay, it doesn't come so easily. So I've learned that. And tomorrow, if I have an audition, I will make sure that I show up, right? And I'm okay with that failure because um, look at me. Like, I don't think I don't have that face where people are like, oh, that is an attractive face, that get her. No. So I have to work. I have to work and earn it. And I'm okay with that. And that is the message I want to give the girls as well. Like, it is okay. Like, if you have the talent, that is what you should showcase, more than your beauty. Because when you're out there, like if you become a model, what do you do? What is your future? Your future isn't coming in front of the TV, doing ads, doing movies, or whatever it is. If you're not talented, if you don't know how to act, then it doesn't matter. You cannot be just pretty and then sitting there, right? You need to do the work. So nurture that talent first. Looks will come later, So rejections are something that I still face, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay if I get rejected because I know I learned something from it, and I know that it is only going to help me, towards success. So one thing I learned in this process is to accept rejections.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being so honest and real. You're keeping it very honest and real because that's the hard truth of any struggle in any industry, in any field. Everything is so glamorized with achievements and titles and accolades, but nobody wants to talk about the struggles, what you learn along the way. And it is the learning that you learn along the way is what honestly you're here to leave behind for the other people, right? And that's what you're so conveying it so beautifully with what the path that you walk through, where
with my own experience.
Yeah, no, that's and rejection is not easy. That's where, how do you bounce back? And part of what you do as a fitness instructor or as strength coach is to build that muscle, right, of resilience, where you have not just physically taught yourself to bounce back, you've also taught yourself to mentally bounce back as well. So that's the whole mind, body, spirit connection that you have, which I admire a lot in you because you somehow align it beautifully and don't allow that to, stop you from chasing more things that, that you may be able to bring into your space and learn something from it and eventually give it back to somebody else. So something in there can be resonated to the other.
Oh, well, you put that together so well. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Okay, that's wonderful. So I think we're almost to the end. The last question I have for you, I think you've encapsulated this question in many different ways in our conversation already. So if you were to leave behind one truth, Rashmy, what is that one truth that you want to leave behind? Who may be wanting to walk the same path as you.
I would always say, put yourself first. That's about it. Your family, your husband, your children, everything will follow. What you have to do. As we women, we always think we have to sacrifice, but no, we don't have to sacrifice. We can have it all. So I keep telling my friends also, put yourself first. Do what is important for you first, and don't ever blame it on saying that, oh, I didn't have the time. Oh, my kid is going to college. I need to save money. Or, oh, my kid is getting married. No, those things will happen. Don't wait for something else to happen first so that you can, follow your dream after that. If you have a dream, start now. Don't put it for later. I feel like what I feel is like I have lived more than half of my life, and I'm living every day as if it's the last. And I'm like, I want to grab all opportunities. I want to do everything, right now. That is how I live, because it took me a long time to realize that I'm capable, and then I feel like I need to grab everything that is coming my way, and I am not letting anyone else dim that light. And so I always put myself first. I tell my kids, my husband understands. He knows that this is the time and this is what I want to do. And I want to do it. I don't want to regret after 10 years saying, oh shit, I should have done it. No. Like, I don't want to regret. I don't want to have a single regret thinking that, oh, that was a good opportunity. I should have used it. So right now I'm just going to use it. And as I said in simple words, put yourself first. Your kids will understand. Your kids will never ask you to stop dreaming. They will grow, they will learn, and they will actually be better humans if they see you, follow your dreams. And they are like, okay, my mother was doing a lot of things when she was 40 or 45, and I want to be like that. I want to grow up to be like my mother. That's the best lesson that you can give your kids. So always put yourself first. We women can achieve a lot of things if we set our heart, soul, and foot into, and be fearless. Poonam, I knew I had the capability, but I was always kind of shy, or I always had that fear, like, oh, what would others think? Oh, will I be okay? Am I doing the right thing? But the minute I took off that fear from me, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, there is an audience, but I am up on that stage because I took the courage and I'm fearless. I'm standing, the audience in front of me did not take that step. They did not sign up for this. They are not on the stage, they are watching you. So who has more power? Me on the stage, right? Why? Because I'm fearless. I don't care what the audience thinks about me. When I'm on that stage, I do things to satisfy myself. So take away the fear. What are you afraid of? Right? You should never be afraid of others' opinions, or never seek validation from anyone else. That is the most important lesson I learned. And I wish somebody had told me, like, when I was a kid, right? Then we would have all grown up with much more confidence and much more power. So yeah, that's the simplest message I can give.
That's enough. I mean, that's a beautiful message. You can sum it up with. And I think that's where most people get stuck, is they're in the mode of wanting to seek validation,
excuses, and and making excuses.
Correct. Yeah. Which, again, to each their own in terms of how they want to shape their life. I'm not here to judge anyone for their choices, but if there's something in you and you're holding yourself back, this is a good inspiration for you to learn from and lean into, and tell yourself that no, you don't need to. You can go out there and shine your light. And when you shine your light, you're just know that you're touching other people along the way as well. Which is what your story today that you shared with all of us is going to do for others. So, Rashmi, tell us how, if somebody wanted to work with you or somebody wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way they can connect with you?
My Instagram. I'm 24/7 on my Instagram. It's Mrs. Universe Petite 2025. Yeah, Rashmy Nair. Rashmy, it's like rush me to the hospital. Kind of Rashmy. Nair, Nair. That is how you can reach me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, if you enjoyed today's conversation with Rashmi
I
and
love
you want to hear, absolutely, and thank you again. If you want to hear more stories of strength, transformation, empowerment, be sure to subscribe to Unbound and Awakened podcast on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to recommend a guest or a topic you'd like to cover on, any feedback that you give me is invaluable. And also make sure you connect with Rashmi to learn more about her journey, her work into fitness, her strength coaching, pageantry. You can find all her links, and I'll put it on the show notes as well. Follow her for more inspiration and insights on how she's helping women build confidence, embrace their true selves, and break barriers. Thank you again for
Thank you,
tuning
Poonam.
in.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Like, you somehow summoned everything, summed it up to a real good content. I'm so thankful to you for giving me this opportunity. Like, I never say no to an interview because I know if somebody is listening to me and they come back to me and say, "Oh, you are so inspiring." I mean, that is our success, right? That is what we want to do. That is how a very little way how we can change the world. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. I also have a website that's www.rashmy.com. So, yeah. But thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi. It's been an absolute pleasure having this
Thank you.
conversation with you today. So with this, I'm just going to end the show notes here.